AirAsia plane missing with 162 aboard. A jet flying from Surabaya, Indonesia, to Singapore with 162 people aboard lost contact with air traffic control over the Java Sea about an hour before it was to land and is missing, AirAsia Indonesia officials said Sunday. Flight QZ8501 took off at about 5:35 a.m. Sunday local time from Wanda International Airport and lost contact with air traffic control at about 7:24 a.m., the airline said on its Facebook page. The time in Surabaya is 12 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, Singapore is 13 hours ahead of it. We don't dare to presume what has happened except that it has lost contact. Joko Murjitmajo, Indonesia's acting Director General of Transportation, told reporters. He said the last contact between pilot and the air traffic control was at 6:13 a.m. local time, when the pilot asked to avoid a cloud bank, by turning left and going higher to 34,000. Flight QZ8501 gave no distress signal, he said. Indonesia, nearby Malaysia and Singapore have launched search and rescue operations, officials said. The distance between Surabaya and Singapore is about 860 miles. The contact was lost about 42 minutes after takeoff from Surabaya Airport, Hadi Mustafa, an official of the Transportation Ministry told Indonesia's Metro TV. The plane lost contact when it was believed to be over the Java Sea between Kalimantan and Java Islands, Mustafa said. The weather in the area was cloudy. The crew's request for an unusual route is curious, since the weather didn't seem to be anything unusual, said William Waldock, an expert on air crash search and rescue with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, Airlines. Severe weather is the reason pilots usually request a different route, but in this case the winds were light, there were a few thin clouds, but that's about it, he said. The crew of the Airbus A320-200 included 2 pilots, 4 flight attendants and 1 engineer, according to flight documents. The captain, identified in those documents as Captain Ariando, had a total of 6,100 flying hours. The first officer a total of 2,275 flying hours, said AirAsia, a low-cost regional airline, based in Sepang, Malaysia, near Kuala Lumpur. The airline, founded in 2001 by Malaysian businessman Tony Fernandes, said the plane carried 155 passengers, including 138 adults, 16 children and an infant. Most of the passengers are Indonesian nationals, but the airline also identified 1 passenger from Singapore, 1 passenger from Malaysia, 1 passenger from France and 3 from South Korea. Before AirAsia released its statement about the missing plane, officials changed the airline's Facebook and Twitter account logos from red to gray. Indonesian officials earlier had said the flight had 161 people aboard, potentially because the infant was not counted. The president has been briefed on AirAsia Flight 8501, and White House officials will continue to monitor the situation, White House spokesman Eric Schultz told reporters. Singapore's Prime Minister, Lee Hsien Loong, personally tweeted his condolences, saddened to hear of missing flight QZ8501. My thoughts are with the passengers and their families. Murjitmajo, the Indonesian official, said the plane is believed to have gone missing somewhere over the Java Sea between Tanjung Pandan on Belitung Island and Pontianak, on Indonesia's part of Kalimantan Island. Media on Belitung Island, about halfway between Surabaya and Singapore, are reporting that authorities have found the wreckage. The Airbus A320-200 with the registration number PKAXC had its last scheduled maintenance November 16, airline officials said. Worldwide, 3,606 A320s are in operation, according to Airbus. In a statement, the firm said the AirAsia aircraft had accumulated approximately 23,000 flight hours and 13,600 flights. It said it will provide full assistance to the French Safety Investigation Authority, and to the authorities in charge of the investigation. The thoughts of the Airbus management and staff are with all those affected by Flight QZ8501, the statement added. The Singapore Aviation Authority said Jakarta Ground Control was informed about the missing plane by about half an hour after contact was lost. Search and rescue operations have been activated by the Indonesian authorities, it said, adding that the Singapore Air Force and the Navy also were searching with two C-130 planes. At Surabaya's Juanda International Airport, dozens of relatives sat in a room, many talking on mobile phones, crying and looking dazed as the hours dragged on without additional news. As word spread, more and more family members arrived at the crisis center to await word. Flightradar24, a flight tracking website, said the Airbus A320-200 was delivered in September 2008. It said the 6-year-old plane was flying at 32,000 feet, the regular cruising altitude for most jetliners, when the signal from the plane was lost. AirAsia, which has dominated cheap travel in the region for years, has never lost a plane before. AirAsia Malaysia owns 49% of the Indonesian subsidiary. This is the third major air incident for Southeast Asia this year. On March 8, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a wide-bodied Boeing 777, went missing soon after taking off from Kuala Lumpur for Beijing. It remains missing with 239 people in one of the biggest aviation mysteries. On July 17, another Malaysia Airlines flight, also a Boeing 777, was shot down over rebel-controlled eastern Ukraine, while on a flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. A total of 298 people on board were killed. Malaysia Airlines offered its support to AirAsia, tweeting, "Stay strong AirAsia, our thoughts and prayers are with all family and friends of those on board QZ8501. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak tweeted, "Very sad to hear that AirAsia Indonesia QZ8501 is missing. My thoughts are with the families. Malaysia stands ready to help." AirAsia Group CEO Fernandes tweeted that he was on his way to Surabaya, where most of the passengers are from. In a statement, he later said, "My only thought are with the passengers and my crew. We put our hope in the SAR search and rescue operation and thank the Indonesia, Singapore and Malaysian governments." He stirred controversy earlier this year after incorrectly tweeting that Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, now synonymous with one of aviation's enduring mysteries, had landed safely. Waldock cautioned against drawing comparisons to the disappearance of Flight 370. "I think we have to let this play out," he said. "Hopefully, the airplane will get found, and if that happens it will probably be in the next few hours. Until then, we have to reserve judgment. Circumstances bode well for finding the plane, since the intended flight time was less than 2 hours and the plane disappeared from a known position," he said.